Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 5, Episode 163. It is Wednesday morning, and that means that we have a long trip ahead of us today. It is early, 72 degrees outside, and we are just getting going for the day. Like I said, we have a long day. Normally, and recently, Wednesdays have been overnights. I don't think this one's going to go all the way to an overnight because I have some stuff I need to take care of tomorrow, and I don't want to be tired. So it will be a longer day, but not quite an overnight. Yesterday was an okay day. We did okay online. We did all right in the casino, but nothing major. So hopefully today will be a little bit better. I'd like to get at least 2 sessions of blackjack in today. I'd like to make at least $1,000 if possible, but it's all one step at a time, right? So we'll see what happens with that. I hope you guys are enjoying the 1776 countdown. We're going to continue to do that. I have a good plan on that one right now and have the next hundreds of episodes already planned out, so those should be good. Notice that gas prices continuing to go down. I expect to pay under $3 a gallon today again, and hopefully it stays low like that. Obviously that helps the economy, it helps everybody, so hopefully that continues. Other than that, man, it's early, just getting going, and I'll come back and update you. But today, no meetings, so it should be pretty easy. Just have the laptop next to me, answer any emails that come in, any inquiries that come in on Teams, and other than that, I think I'm going to be in good shape. So for now, I'm going to let you go. We're just heading out, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back and been driving for about 2 hours now. Still got a long way to go. Sun is out. It's 80 degrees right now, and looks like there's a lot of police on the road today. I don't know why. It's still early in the month. I don't know what the reason is. Maybe because it's a nice day. Stopped for fuel, which should be good for the rest of the trip. We'll fill up again tomorrow morning, so we're good because we can go over 500 miles on a fill up. Filled up for $2.60 today, so I'm loving that. And see, there's another cop right there. So everything is good so far. Things have been quiet at work, but it's still early, but hopefully that continues.
There are police reported ahead.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so far so good. All we got to do is get there and make money. So I just wanted to give you a little brief update here. Everything is going fine. The weather is good. Fuel prices are great. And this whole trip should cost me under $30 for fuel. That's pretty amazing. So benefit of having a hybrid and low prices. All right, guys, I'll be back. Alright guys, just got here, just getting out of the car, gonna head on in there. Timing wise, not the greatest. I left the key in here, I guess. Timing wise, not the greatest, but I should be able to get on a table within an hour or so. Should be an area opening up by then, and of course all the slots that we normally would do. So let's head on in there, and hopefully we have some good variants today. Alright guys, I am back. So right now I'm waiting for a poker table, Pot Limit Omaha, waiting for the table to open. Looks like that's going to happen in the next 10 or 12 minutes, according to them. So we'll see what happens there. So far I haven't had a chance to play any blackjack. I actually missed an opportunity because the table was full and I couldn't sit down. Other than that, they're opening some other tables. They weren't completely open. We got the one Pit Boss Skeletor over in one area, and we got the Mad Woman over in the other area right now. Got to wait for the rotation to happen. Other than that, slots, I've only played 2 plays, and one of them, maybe 3 plays. One of them paid me just a couple dollars. The other one lost a few. And then I won 70 on one of them. So I'm ahead around $70, $72, somewhere in there. but I don't want to walk away from this area here because I know they're going to open it soon. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us already checked in, and there's others on the list here. So hopefully we get that open real soon. We can make some money there and then go back to what we were doing. But work-wise, no meetings going on, no requests from anybody. I'm keeping my profile active, so that's good. I know they even told me that they don't even look at that, but obviously if they're gonna look at your profile and they see you've been inactive for 3 hours, that's probably not a good thing. So I like to keep it active whenever I can. Anyway, gonna wait for this and I'll come back and update you. All right, guys, I am back. I was in there for 4.5 hours, and it's kind of weird. Kind of busy at some points, but dead other times. The poker room was packed in the morning, and as soon as they opened the tables, it was dead. Everybody took off, and then they didn't have enough people to play the games. This guy here, this is the guy that I saw the one day that I thought worked here, that I saw had the handcuffs on him. Yeah, security guy driving around the parking lot. Anyway, a lot of stuff happening in there. Came in, found some slots to play. I was ahead like $70, $80, something like that right away. Waited around for some Pot Limit Omaha to open. Took forever, would not open. Finally, I noticed that they had a different table open. Sat down there instead. There was a no limit table. Played there for about 25 minutes. And then the Pot Limit table opened up. So I left that one. First table, I was ahead $52 in 25 minutes. Played Pot Limit Omaha. Bought in for $300. And in a hurry gave that up, and then rebought for $300 more, and built that up to about $700 or $800, and then had a really bad hand just kill me, and then bought in for a third $300, so I was in for $900, and back and forth I was up to about $700 or so, and there were 6 of us in a hand pre-flop. Raise, all in. Actually, it was like 4 raises, and then one guy went all in, and I called. Now, I actually raised him. He raised first, everyone called, I re-raised, then he went all in. So, I had ace, king, king, queen, double suited. So that's pretty darn good hand to start. He had aces, of course, and the flop was like 2 low cards, like not low, but like a 7, 6, jack, and then nothing, and he ends up winning with a pair of aces when I have king, ace, king, king, queen double suited. So I was down at that point. I was down about 900. Rebought for 300 more. Grinding, and I was at that table for quite a long time, and finally ended up leaving when I won a big hand ahead just $36. Now, it's interesting what happened before that. So when they called me off the other table to the Pot Limit Omaha table, I get there, there's only 7 of us, there's supposed to be 8. One person had already decided he didn't want to play, even though when they announced it, he said that he'd take the seat. So we started with 7, and then on the first hand, one guy busts out and leaves. Now we have 6. Within 20 minutes, we're down to 5, and then one guy gets moved to a different table. Now we're down to 4, and then one of the people on the table did not want to play 4, so we sat around waiting forever. We got a 5th person, and as soon as we started playing again, the guy who wanted to wait, because the rake is too big to play with 4 people, according to him. So that guy, when the 5th person came to the table, ends up losing his stack on the next hand and leaving. So now we were back to 4. Another guy comes to the table. Now we're back to 5. And this guy was just shoving all in with crazy stuff and they were like two big hands that I would have won, but I had no good hand. I mean, the hands that I had were just, you couldn't call $400 raises with, and I would have beat him multiple times. So that was unfortunate, but he came to the table with quite a bit of money too. So I don't know. All he was, and he was like this real loud guy. He was some kind of Spanish speaker. I couldn't really tell. I'm thinking somewhere in South America. I couldn't tell exactly where, but all he was talking about was the soccer stuff and how he bet this much thousands and this many thousands and lost, and the U.S. screwed him because they won a certain game and all this stuff. So, he's a big gambler, so I can't just go by his bet size, because he was just going kind of nuts with pretty much anything, and he had a big stack. And unfortunately, I didn't have the time to capitalize on it, but I was able to get back to even and then ahead $36. So at this point, we hadn't played any blackjack, and I tried multiple times to sit down, but not all the tables were open, and the ones that were open were completely packed. There was one point where there was something else going on at the table I could have taken advantage of, but the table was completely full and I couldn't sit down, and I finally walked away. I just stood behind it, and I was back counting two tables at the same time, and unfortunately one table went severely negative and the other table nobody got up. So back counting or not, it didn't make a difference no matter what. Other than that, did play a lot of slots, all pretty much small plays, and just picked up a little bit of money here and there, and ended up ahead another 322 there. So that's about $400 is all we've done so far today. We can still do some online stuff later on. I don't know if I will or not, because I do have a lot of stuff to do. I did get some messages from work, some things I need to work on. I've got those things running right now. So far so good. Not a lot of money, but that's going to happen sometimes. Okay. All right. So what else did I want to talk about? So there was another thing going on that I wanted to check out at this place, and in order to check it out, let's just say, you needed a card. Well, I've got a card at this place. I just don't use it, and I don't want to use it. I did bring one with me just in case. Sometimes you're going to have some really big slot plays, like, $25, $50 a spin that could go on for, hundreds, even thousands of spins. And I always just keep my card with me in case that situation arises. Then I can have one big session. But other than that, I haven't used my card in a year and a half, 2.5 years, something like that. But like I said, in order to take advantage of something, you had to use a card. So I decided to try. I put my card in. It said account not found. I'm like, well, okay. I tried 3 different places. It said account not found. I'm like, this is not a good sign. So I go to one of those machines that you can put your ID in, and it prints you off a new card. I thought maybe, just the card that I have is old and maybe it's expired or something like that. So put my ID in. It said, please see whatever player services for help, or cannot print, please see player services. I'm like, yeah, this is looking really bad. So I went on their app, and my account worked on the app. I didn't see any indication of anything weird going on, but I did see a pop-up window asking me to input my phone number because they didn't have it. I thought, well, maybe, since they're missing information, they added a field, and the field has to be full in order for them to let you use your card. So I gave it a shot. I put my phone number in there. It verified my number. And then I went to another machine and tried it, and it said, please see player services. But there was one other machine next to it, and I thought, I just updated this. Maybe it just hasn't taken yet. So I waited for a minute, and I went to the other machine and put it in there, and that one printed me off a new card. So now I have 2 cards in my hands. I have an old one and a new one. I go back to the original scene of the crime, you could say, and I swiped my original card, and it said account not found. I'm like, all right, so now we know at least this card is no good. If the new card is no good, then most likely I'm banned and I don't know it yet. And a friend of mine had said, well, that might be the case because they'll wait until you win a jackpot and then they'll kick you out once they get your card from you, an ID. So I scanned my new card, swiped it, and it thought about it for a minute, and it worked. So fortunately, I'm not banned as far as I know, and we can continue to play. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play any blackjack at all, which is so frustrating to have it right there. And even in like the worst areas with the lower limits and the worst slower players, everything, I just could not get on a table. And to tell you the truth, I mean, if I could get on the table with 4 other people, did I even want that? I don't even think I want that. So I just had no shot at it today as far as blackjack, but poker worked out okay, I guess. So I guess I was between the 2 sessions. I had almost 100 there. A lot of learning that I've been doing with live pot limit. I seem to have better luck with online pot limit. I don't know if that's just a small sample size or not, but I can pretty much consistently get in and out and win a couple hundred. For the most part, I do have, times when things go terribly bad, but I normally only buy in for $50 or $100 online on a table, and I try to double or triple up and then move on to another table. So right now I was planning on heading out, but actually there's something in this area that my mom needs. She hasn't been able to get anywhere else, and the only other place that we could find it is in New York. So obviously, we don't want to go to New York. So I think there's a small chance that I could find it here. So I'm going to go check it out. It's going to delay me about another 45 minutes or so, but let's go check it out, see if we can find this, and then I'll come back and update you soon. All right, guys, I am back, and I went to this grocery store, and they have everything. It's like an international grocery store, and I found some good stuff in there. For one thing, I found that I can't get where I live is MSG. That's right, MSG, monosodium whatever. MSG, in the words of my friend Bo, who used to travel with me and passed away a couple of years ago, it just makes everything better. He was a chef, and he says MSG is the best thing there is, and I got a nice big container of it. We're going to test that out. And in a lot of places you're not allowed to have it unless you're a chef, or big companies can have it. And there are some ways around it where you can mix it with other things and sell it, and if it's less than a certain percentage MSG, then you can sell it. But I did get some of that. Got some other stuff that is just no longer available in my area, primarily because some of the bigger restaurants, stores, things like that buy it all out. Like, you buy it by like the ounce, and they buy it by the tens of pounds and bigger, hundreds of pounds even. So I was able to get some of that. And then I was going to get something else to eat, but I decided not to because I ran by this dessert area, and oh my goodness, I got this rice pudding that was unbelievable. And another thing, this milk pudding stuff that was unbelievable. Oh my God, I already had them both. I'm sorry, but they were so good. They remind me of when I was a kid. Oh, there's so much stuff that we don't make in this country that we used to make before. And I think it's because we have more money now, and we don't need to make certain things anymore. Like, chicken wings would have been gone a long time ago if it wasn't for good marketing, because it was cheap, Other things people liked because they were cheap when they were kids. They couldn't afford a lot of things, and they ate those. And now all of a sudden those things are in the mainstream, and that's why they survived. But things like what I just bought, I don't really see around too much. Rice pudding, I see them at the grocery stores, and they're astronomical price, and they're not that good. And this was just unbelievable. So I got that stuff. Before I left the casino, I did get a slice of pizza, which was, it was okay. It was extremely thin for some reason. Normally it's thicker crust, and this was like paper thin. You could barely hold on to it. But so it did all that stuff. We got some other stuff from the store, and right now we're continuing our trip. Right now temperature is mid-90s and no breeze at all. Almost completely clear skies right now. So we are moving on, and I'll be back to update you soon. It's time for episode 4 of the 1776 countdown, where I count down the top 1,776 things that I love about America. And this is episode 4. And in today's episode, we're going to start getting into the actual amendments of the Constitution. We're going to start with the First Amendment of the Constitution, which, of course, as you remember from last time when we talked, was part of the Bill of Rights, which was written by James Madison. He was considered the father of the Bill of Rights. So let's start with the First Amendment. So it was ratified as part of the Bill of Rights on December 15th, 1791. And it protects 5 important freedoms. And this is everything I'm talking about is extremely important, so we have to pay attention to this stuff. Number 1, freedom of religion. Number 2, freedom of speech. Number 3, freedom of the press. Number 4, freedom of assembly. And number 5, freedom of petition. It's not just freedom of speech. There's a lot involved here with it. I will come back and explain it in detail here in a moment, but it begins with Congress shall make no law limiting blah blah blah, all the things that I just talked about. So that's a very famous phrase. It protects the all those different, well, we can just go through them right now, all right? So we'll start with freedom of religion. So it is allowing people to practice or not practice a religion, okay? So if you go to Iran, if you go to Saudi Arabia, there's one religion. Saudi Arabia, you're not going there if you're not Muslim, unless you're working there. Otherwise, you're not living there. You have to be, right? In the United States, we do not say that you have to have a religion or that you have to practice a certain religion. Our country was founded on Christianity, but we don't force people to practice it. We allow people to have the freedom to practice whatever religion that they want. Now, if you remember in the past, for those who know me, we've talked about separation of church and state. Separation of church and state is the state shall not limit you from practicing your religion. It doesn't say you can't pray in public schools. It doesn't say you can't pray before a sporting event. It doesn't say that. What they're talking about is the school, the government shall not limit you from practicing your religion. Okay, that's very, very, very important. And we're very unique in that way. If you look at Europe right now, they're having a lot of problems with immigrants, and a lot of those immigrants are Muslims. And now they're limiting the practice of their religion. Okay, so the United States is a little bit different than other places. We allow you to practice or not practice a religion as you want, right? Second is freedom of speech. Okay, so freedom of speech is a lot. There's a lot inside freedom of speech. Number 1, it means that I can say what I want. I can criticize you. I can criticize the government. I can criticize the president. I can do any of that stuff, right? So freedom of speech is I can say what I want to say, right? Number 2 includes things like giving someone the finger, includes profanity, includes all that stuff. You have the right to say what you want to say. Now, in recent years, there are political people out there who want to limit you from saying certain things. And the founding fathers said, basically, If you want to limit other people's freedom of speech, you don't deserve to have freedom of speech. It's not right to limit other people's freedom of speech. You have to allow them to say what they want to say, and you have to protect their right to say it, even if you disagree with it. If you disagree with what someone is saying, you have to be able to stand up and fight for the right to say it. And I was put into that situation about 5 years ago, where someone was saying something that I disagreed with, and someone wanted to limit them from saying it. They wanted to have them removed. They wanted to have them stop. And I stopped it and said, no, they're allowed to say it. You have to protect their right to criticize you, to criticize anything that they want to. All right, so that's freedom of speech as well. Freedom of speech includes being able to say things to public officials, to police, to elected officials. Now, in today's world, there's a lot of police that would say, oh, that's disorderly conduct, or that's profane, or that's whatever. You know what? It comes down to the First Amendment, and although not 100% of the time is it upheld, 99% of the time it's upheld, except in some of the lower courts where people have their own agenda, where you go in, you criticize a mayor, and they have you arrested, and then the local court supports them, and the regional court supports them because they're all on their side. That's wrong, and those people should not be in those positions if they're going to apply the law differently to different people. Freedom of speech, okay? Freedom of the press, okay? Freedom of the press is another major one. You have the right to write down in a newspaper, in a magazine, and anywhere you want on social media, anything that you want to. It doesn't say except, it says anything. And we, in our society, we want to protect this group of people. So we're going to block you from saying that. Oh, you disagree with what happened during COVID? You disagree with Dr. Fauci's views? Oh, we're going to censor you and remove you. That is not right. That is limiting free speech, and that's not correct. And they did it under a guise of, oh, you're giving incorrect information, until now, where we have now proven that he was lying. And now he's going before Congress and has to defend himself since he's already been pardoned. He has to tell the truth, or he's going to have new charges against him, since he can't be charged for the lies that he did before because AutoPen forgave him for it, right? So going back to that, freedom of the press is being able to write those things or criticize through the press, TV, YouTube, whatever it might be. Freedom of the press is also anywhere on public property. Now, private property is different. I can have you removed from my private property because I don't like what you're saying. That's different. That's private property. If I'm in a courthouse and I'm videotaping, I'm in on public land and I'm demonstrating, or I'm saying something that you disagree with, you can't limit me. And there's a lot of auditors out there who are auditing the government, and the government is failing miserably. They're getting arrested, they're being detained, their rights are being taken away, and judges, police officers should know, especially like police officers, they have immunity. That immunity can be stripped away. Qualified immunity, it does not extend to your civil rights being violated, and the First Amendment is part of your civil rights. So they can't say you can't videotape in a post office, you can't videotape in a motor vehicle location where people are getting their licenses, or in a HUD location, or any of those places, right? So you have the right to be there, you have the right to videotape, as long as you're not violating another law, like you're not bothering people, you're not making people scared for their life or anything like that. If you're standing there quietly exercising your rights, that cannot be used as a reason to bring up other charges. So you can't say, you're here exercising your First Amendment rights, we don't like you being here, so we're going to say that you're violating another rule, but really it's because you're practicing your First Amendment rights, if that makes sense. I can go on for hours about this, but I'm not going to. Next is freedom of assembly. You have the right to demonstrate. You have the right to go out there and say what you want, hold up signs, do any of that stuff. And in recent years, of course, a lot of places are saying, oh, you have to have a permit to be at the park, to do whatever. A lot of those permits are not necessary. Now, if you're going to close down a street, that's different. But if you're just in a park and you're holding up a sign, you're on a street corner, public land, and you're holding up a sign that says, I don't like this, whatever, issue, I disagree with how the government's handling something, that is protected speech. All right, freedom of assembly. And then finally, freedom of petition is you saying, okay, we want to have a law changed. We don't like this law. So we're going to get everyone to sign this petition, and we want to get it on the ballot. Or we have this petition, we're going to give it to our city council, or whatever it might be. You have the right to do that, to petition also. So lots of times, like I said, freedom of speech is controversial. It's unpopular. People might say things that you find disgusting or terrible, but it's their right to say those things. And if you violate their rights, now you're committing a crime. So be careful. And when we're talking about assembly, we're talking about peaceful assembly. We're not talking about going out there and burning down a city because we don't like something that happened in that city. That's not peaceful demonstration. So, and just like with other things I've talked about in the Bill of Rights, I talked about the Bill of Rights in general. The 14th Amendment says that this can be used at state and local levels too, and nobody can say, okay, you have freedom of speech from the federal government, but this land is owned by the state of whatever, Colorado, so you can't do that here. No, my rights extend to all those places, and if you try to take those rights away from me, you're violating my civil rights. So I was going to do the Second Amendment as well, but I think that would be way too long right now. We'll wrap this up right now. That was the First Amendment. See you next time. Alright guys, I am back. So just continuing my trip right now. I was just thinking about my day today and the crazy stuff that happened today. The people I talked to one guy. He is a poker player only. That's all he does. He was telling me about how he used to play real big, $100 spins and bigger, and how he used to have $90,000 worth of comps at this casino and another casino that's nearby. And he told me how he got these gigantic suites with multiple rooms, and he got his whole family in there, and they could charge whatever they wanted, and everything was free and all this stuff. And after that, he kind of figured things out. He said his brother lost over $5 million at these casinos, and he saw what it was really all about, and how they cheat people and lie to people and tell you to come back, you'll win it back, and all this stuff, and do whatever they need to do to entice you to come back. And he was really sick of it. And even when I knew him last year and 6 months ago, he was playing slots, and now he's not. He doesn't play any slots at all anymore. He only plays poker, mostly Pot Limit Omaha. And he talks about how the rake is too high, and all he wants is to just have a fair shake at making money without it being rigged. And he knows now, it took him years, but he knows now how rigged the system is, and he's seen the lies that come out of the casinos and deceitfulness and everything else. They tell you one thing, it's actually something else. They entice you to come in, give you a little bit of money, and then you're stuck there. They fly you somewhere, and then you have to wait to leave if you run out of money, and all these different things that they do. And he was talking about tons of things that he encountered. And this is just a regular ploppy, and he does play poker, not for a living, but for fun. And he does pretty well at it. He's a good player. But he sees what happens in casinos, so that was interesting. And then another guy was just telling me about, all the people coming in from different areas and all that kind of stuff. He's told me his life history too, which I don't want to talk about on here because it's just too much, and it's kind of private stuff. But Yeah, it's amazing when you get to know people. And I always thought that I might want to either later on when I'm not gambling anymore, or maybe like a different podcast if I ever had time for it. I just want to sit with everyday people and interview them and ask them about their life. The waitress at the casino, the cashier, the dealer, the pit boss, the average Joe at the casino, the college kid that came into the casino for the first time, the people going through the down part of their life where they're depressed and losing money, the people who are winning money and they're, on the upper end of their luck and all that stuff, and just interview them and ask them questions about their life and what they do and how they started gambling and all those different things and how they feel about the casino and what they think is real, what they think is fake, and all that stuff. I think that would make for a really good interview. So anyway, right now we are continuing our trip, and we can do some segments. We already did the 1776 countdown, and we do have 3 more segments today. First segment is, what did you eat today, MW? I had that slice of pizza. My wife had packed some vegetables for me, some peppers and cucumbers, carrots, stuff like that. I had that. I had a protein shake, and then I had those 2 different puddings that were delicious. So I've had a lot to eat today. So let's go through. The pizza, I'm going to give a 5 on a scale of 2 through 8. It was not crunchy like it normally is. It was really thin. It was not very good at all. And we'll skip the vegetables, but the puddings, wow. Seriously, wow. Now the rice pudding, I'm going to give like a 9 on a scale of 2 through 8. It was pretty good. But the other one is like a milk pudding. Oh, I got to give that at least a Jack. A Jack on a scale of 2 through 8. One of my highest ratings ever. That might be tied with the Mars bar, which is actually Snickers with almonds, especially right out of the refrigerator. Mwah, unbelievable. So, yeah, that's that. And what did you tip today? We actually did tip today. We actually got rid of that segment because we don't tip. But since we play poker, I do tip at the poker table. I probably tipped a total of like $18 or so at the poker table. Always $1 at a time. Never had any gigantic hands. I mean, I had some $400 or $500 hands, but that's not gigantic, so they get $1 for that. And what did you learn today, MW? Well, I kind of went through something today where I was really worried that I was banned from this place, and even though they check ID, I know what they do when they check ID, and they don't actually check ID. They make it look like they check ID, but 99% of the time they're actually not checking it. Anyway, I learned that maybe I could have had a soft back off and not known it, but luckily it worked out. So now I know it was because they added a field in their app, and they actually went from optional to required for your phone number. So that's what I learned today. Right now we're going to head on home and have dinner with the family and enjoy life and be happy. And I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.